I just need to practice being more conscious.
You see, awareness is not something that can be done as a technique. You practice not being more conscious, but allowing yourself to rest in your consciousness.
How do you
You
do
have
that?
to relax into it. So everything we're doing in terms of methods is just to help you relax into it. So yes, in the beginning it will require effort. Many times you'll have to sharpen your attention, sharpen your concentration, but don't think that meditation is a technique. Meditation is not a technique. It's not a method. It's not something you can do. It's a certain quality. It's a certain quality of being. If you become a meditative consciousness, then whether you're sitting, you'll be meditative. If you're walking, you'll be meditative. If you're lying down, you'll be meditative. If you're going to sleep, you'll be meditative. If you're standing, you'll be meditative. Whatever you do, your meditation will be inescapable. So that's how it is when something becomes a natural quality for you. It becomes as effortless as your own breath. So that's not anything you can do as a practice or a technique. It's not meditation. We may have talked about it once. Actually, the English word meditation is very misleading. Because if we look at the word meditation in the dictionary, you'll find something like, it means something like to contemplate or to consider. So let's say you're contemplating on love. You could say you're meditating on love in English, in the English language. Or let's say let's say Aristotle, he's contemplating about the mysteries of the universe. You can say he's meditating on the universe. Something like that, a process of contemplation, you can call it meditation in English. And contemplation is an effort of the mind, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You need to keep pedaling your wheels of effort in order to contemplate. Same thing with concentration. You concentrate on the breath. Concentration is also an effort of the mind, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or mindfulness. Making an effort to be alert from moment to moment. That can also be done as an effort of the mind. So if we really want to understand what we're calling so-called meditation, it's better to understand what it's not. It's not contemplation. It's not mindfulness. It's not concentration. It's not visualization. These are all things that can be done as an effort of the mind. But what we mean in the yogic sciences by meditation is something totally different. In the East, it's called Dhyana. The word for it is Dhyana. And Dhyana, it really has no precise translation in the English language. There's no word that is a replacement for Dhyana in English. So just as a substitute, this word meditation has been used. But actually that's very misleading. Meditation is not something that can be done as an effort of the mind. It's a certain spontaneous wakefulness, a spontaneous awareness. Its very nature is spontaneous. So it can't be done as a technique. That's why all the so-called meditation techniques, all that they're doing is, again, they're just preparing your inner atmosphere for meditation. Go on practicing those methods. You'll find there comes a point where you'll have this spontaneous leap, a spontaneous shift. Your effort will disappear and you'll spontaneously be awake. And that will be your first experience of so-called meditation. And eventually, the more glimpses you have into that silence, you'll find your silence deepens. Every time you have an experience of silence, you'll find that your silence becomes more established, it becomes more stronger. Just like every time you have an experience of misery, every time you have an experience of suffering, You find your suffering increases, your miseries increase. So that's how the mind is. The more and more so-called experiences you have of silence, is the more your silence becomes more established. So don't think of like passing experiences as insignificant. They're not insignificant. Every experience is fleeting, yes, you shouldn't give it too much importance. But every experience you have in life has an influence in which direction you will move in life. So these tendencies of the mind, in yoga they're called vasanas. There are certain vasanas which will lead you to deeper and deeper unawareness. And there are certain vasanas which will lead you to more and more consciousness. That makes sense?
Yes.